You can ask your question. Ask.
Well, do you know what it was I was thinking, yeah? Because, like, you see what I was just saying about the whole cryptocurrency and the fact that that is the way that we're going to, like, cashless society.
Yeah.
For some reason, I can never have that conversation and not think about the Revelations chapter of the Bible.
In terms of...
Well, obviously, you
days?
know I'm not religious,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know that I don't really believe in all that stuff. But I can't get past the fact that it states in Revelations, no man will be able to buy or sell without this mark in his hands.
Mark of the beast.
Yeah, and the fact that we can only trade with this mark. And I remember growing up with that and being taught, this is the reason why we know we're going to have a cashless society, because of what it states in the Bible.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Book of Revelations? Like, what?
In terms of the Bible, I think it's great for everyone. In terms of if you take it as the story it is, rather than, I'm not saying that the Bible is a lie or isn't a lie. If we take it as it is, because a lot of people would take it literally, and at the end of the day, everything has to move forward in life. So, yeah, the Bible may have taught it into existence. Yeah, maybe we are moving towards a cashless society. And for me, in terms of the mark of the beast, that's only in people's heads.
Yeah.
So, like, what you focus on is what you get. So, we lived in a society where everything was duality, so good and bad. So, in the good and bad, there always has to be an evil, rather than... Everyone wants to blame something else rather than blaming themselves. So the evil is easier to blame, because it's like, say, blaming your ego. So instead of looking at yourself, it's like, oh yeah, it was that, it was something else. But at the end of the day, we're still here. The earth is still spinning. It's spinning in the middle of nowhere. We can't see where it is. And it's still going around the sun, and the sun's still going around something else. But we're still here sitting comfortably and calm and happy. So I don't see the earth going anywhere right now, because it's been here a lot longer than us, and I don't see us going anywhere right now, because it's I'm sure in the 1500s when they had the plague, they thought that the world was going to end then. True. But we're still here now in 2018.
Yeah, true.
So for me, cryptocurrency in the sense is just everything moving forward with technology, and technology is the future, but it's just how we use technology determines how things can be. So that's the way I see cryptocurrency and the mark of the beast and Revelations.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy into the whole mark of the beast business, because to buy into that, I would have to buy into the beast.
Yeah.
And I just think it's metaphorical.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting that that statement is in Revelations. I mean, it could be a case of natural evolution, because we always think of, like, existence and time as one straight line, whereas really linear. It's not. It's a cycle. Everything's a cycle. So whoever wrote the Bible, those people may have already understood the fact that there's a cycle, and after a certain amount of time, this is what's going to happen, and this is how we are going to trade in the future. And they're just jotting down their experiences, maybe. And
I agree with that, because if you look at the Mayan calendar, the Mayan calendar says a lot about how the future will be, and how things are, and how the world is going to change, and how the cycle will be, like you was just mentioning. So I do agree in that terms, but in terms of the good and the bad, because a lot of people say they believe in God, and for me, if you believe in God, then if God is all perfect, then where does the devil come from? Because the devil was supposed to come from God, so you're saying that God made a mistake then. So technically you don't really believe in God. You believe in the story that you're told about God, and you like to believe in God to say that God will give you all of this goodness, but as soon as the goodness doesn't happen, you need to say that God made some mistake. So do you really, really believe in what you say you believe in? And a belief is a thought we just keep thinking. If you train someone to do something, like a monkey, if you tie its hands together and then you keep pulling its fingers back, 1,000 times. If you remove the tape, then the monkey's gonna move its finger, and that's how we live. So we just live by whatever we're told in repetition, and we become that. Even Hitler said it. If you tell a lie often enough, it eventually become the truth.
Yeah.
So monkey see, monkey do.
No, that's true, and yeah, no, I agree with that whole thing about like. I just think that I know where it's come from, but I can't understand why in 2018 we're still moving with this, what I believe to be an old school way of describing an omnipotent being. I think that God, as it were, is actually the name of a connection between all living organisms, like everything. It's just atoms. Everything in the universe, like we're all connected. Every single one of us is connected, and we've got a connective energy. Like, it's not a coincidence that it's not even just with twins. There's been times where, like, my mum knows when I'm not okay. And she don't see me. Like, we don't chat that often. She knows when I'm not okay. I know when my missus ain't okay. Like, you can walk into a room and you can tell that someone's having an argument or it's a bit awkward because we've got energy and our energy connects. So I think people miss the point.
It goes back to our earlier conversation where everyone's living in that survival mode. So we believe that once we have enough, we don't want to move out of that comfort zone. So what we tend to do is live by our five senses, which is survival. So like, imagine if I touch your hand right now, where do you feel the sensation of that touch? You feel it inside of you, don't you? So basically, everything that happens to you is on the inside. But because we're living in survival mode, we live with all our five senses, which is pointed on the outside. And until we turn inside and we find that one single connection, as you say, is everything, then that's when our lives will change and expand. But we want to live a boundless and unlimited life, but always seeking security where there's always limits. So we'll never ever get there.
So true.
So we can never have this so-called connection with the source or God or the universe if we're always seeking something outside of us, when the truth is all the answers are on the inside of us. Because if this God or universe or source, whatever anyone wants to call it, because it's all same but different for me, but if God is the creator of everything, whatever creates something, it leaves its energy in that thing. So that means it has to be in that thing. But whenever we're seeking God, we're always looking outside. So how can we find what we're looking for?
So let me ask you, because you used to be a practicing Muslim, right?
Yep. Christianity and Buddhist.
So the list goes on,
Learning Hinduism as well.
Okay. So, as a former Christian, Muslim, future Buddhist, maybe?
No religion.
No religion, okay. As someone who appreciates religion, clearly, how did you go from God that is portrayed by Christianity and Islam, and to a certain extent Buddhism, but it's very different, to this inner connection that you found now? How did that happen?
For me, it was all the answers that I was looking for in life. I thought that they were somewhere away from me. But when I went to Thailand, I took that leap of faith. I just went away, had no idea of what to do. I had no money, whatever. I just took a leap of faith. I just jumped. And in jumping, I got to discover so much about myself. And then because of that, being by myself, somewhere else, not knowing anyone, I got to really look at who I am and look in the mirror. And then I had to self-learn, self-grow, and reteach myself, in a sense, recalibrate or reprogram my own brain, in the sense of, if I really want to know the answers, I have to start looking at myself. and looking within. I didn't know what I was doing, but that's what it ended up being.
Yeah.
And in looking within, I started to find a lot more answers than all the answers that everything outside of me was given. And then I started to find the right places to look, the right things to search, and the right things to read. And then I started to meet people, bump into people who would reinforce the message of what I was just saying. And they would give me answers to maybe questions I may have had the night before. Like randomly, I'll bump into people. Like recently, when I went to Shoreditch with my sister, I met this random guy, came up to me, and then he was just like, wow, you've got an amazing aura. And then we were talking, and then he literally asked me to write something down. But before I wrote it down, he wrote it down. And then he scrunched up the paper, and then when I wrote it down now, he gave me his piece of paper, and then I opened it, and it said exactly the same.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously. This happened Tuesday. So, like, yeah. Like, literally, he asked me to write down 3 numbers, a name that means something to me, and my age. And then, boom.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Every single one.
Every single thing was on the paper. I don't even know if do I still have the paper? I like
Is this
to
guy's a magician?
No, I don't even know what he is, but I think I had the paper. Yeah, this is the paper. This is his writing. So no word of a lie. You know that's not my writing. Yeah. Literally, I kept the paper on purpose. So when I started to look within, that's how I started to find this connection. And I started to know that I'm not the only thing that's important, because everything is important. Everyone is important. So my connection with everything and everyone is important. And the way how I treat myself is how I reflect on others. So that's how I started to change my approach from the religious dogmas to a more inclusive approach. So to include everything rather than to be exclusive. So I don't believe in us and them. That's why I moved away from religion.
Nice.
But religions are beautiful, and there's so many beautiful people from religious
backgrounds.
backgrounds.
100%. We definitely need to make that clear.
Yeah.
It definitely can, and I've got nothing against anyone who practices religion or even turns to that. Have you heard of the Hope Dealers?
No.
Bro, oh god, so there's this church called Spac Nation here in South. Fam, when I first saw this, so I got sent this Twitter message here. It's just this tweet was sent to my WhatsApp, and I went onto it, followed the link here. And it was a tweet of someone's Snapchat video, and they were like, "Rah, is this how churches in South London get down?" There was man spitting with balaclavas to drill music.
Oh wow.
Like proper drilling, and I'm like, and the guy's like, brah, brah, brah. And when I'm listening to the lyrics, it's Christian. It's Christian lyrics.
Oh wow.
So I was like, rah. So then at work as well, I met this guy, Michael Clark, I think his name is. He was telling me about like Spac Nation and that. And then and then I come across these Hope Dealers, and they're basically like a rap group. They do drill, but they do Christian drill.
Oh wow.
And they wear ballies. Can I remember why they wear ballies now? I think it's something to do with like not mixing their job with what they're doing. I think it's something around that. But they look like they're about this life, but they're not. they're Christians, and they've got a pastor that's mad young. He's like 23 or something like that.
Wow.
He used to be on road, and then something happened to him, and I think he got stabbed or something. And he prayed and he said, "God, if you save me, I promise I'll serve you."
Wow.
And now he's a pastor. So yeah, man. And do you know the most amazing thing about this church is that they actually help young people build businesses.
Oh,
like
respect.
they really they give funding to young people. They really teach young people how to be proper entrepreneurs and how to like really build a business and a foundation. So I can't have nothing but love and respect for something like that.
Yeah, respect, man.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of good people from a lot of faiths, so respect, especially to the Hope Dealers. I appreciate them.
Yeah, man. 100%.
What? Cool.
I think that's in the Tesla. Let's check it out.